Atlantis is a name that has been embedded in history and mythology as a captivating mystery. Is it a myth or a reality? For centuries, researchers, philosophers, and scientists have debated this topic. Plato, the great philosopher of ancient Greece, mentioned Atlantis in his writings, claiming it was a magnificent, advanced civilization that mysteriously sank beneath the ocean. The details and possible truths in his accounts have made people wonder whether it was merely a myth or an actual event. Today, we will delve into this topic and explore it in depth. Part 1. The History and Origins of Atlantis. Plato's Testimony. In Plato's works, Timaeus and Critias, Atlantis is mentioned. According to him, Atlantis was an extremely powerful and developed empire that existed around 9,000 years ago. Plato described it as an island located in the Atlantic Ocean, beyond the Pillars of Hercules, the modern-day Strait of Gibraltar, and its size was comparable to that of a continent. His accounts suggest that it was a prosperous civilization with abundant natural resources and advancements in societal, cultural, and scientific fields, surpassing any other contemporary civilization. Location and geography. Plato stated that Atlantis was located in the Atlantic Ocean, beyond the Pillars of Hercules. The island was vast, containing diverse regions, mountains, rivers, and fertile lands. It was rich in precious metals like gold and silver, and its geography was so extraordinary that it was often described as a natural paradise. Society and government. The societal system in Atlantis was highly organized and sophisticated. It operated as a monarchy divided into 10 regions, each ruled by its own king. Above them, there was a supreme ruler who ensured justice, law, and peace. The citizens were treated with respect, and the society was one of collaboration and civility. Their government prioritized moral values, focusing on the welfare of the public. Part 2. The Civilization, Science, and Technology of Atlantis. Science and Technology. The technological and scientific advancements in Atlantis were far superior to those of contemporary civilizations. The people of Atlantis were said to have used alternative energy sources such as solar power, magnetism, and electricity. Their scientific tools and technologies were so advanced that they resembled the dreams of modern humanity. Their buildings featured systems for electricity, energy conservation, and the use of natural resources in an unprecedented way. Urban planning. The cities of Atlantis were not only beautiful, but also incorporated advanced planning principles. The cities were arranged in concentric circles, with each ring designated for specific purposes. In the center of each city stood a grand palace surrounded by canals and rivers. This urban design reflected the exceptional achievements of their civilization. Education, medicine, and arts. Education in Atlantis was highly developed, encompassing subjects such as philosophy, mathematics, astronomy, and medicine. Their medical practices were so advanced that they could cure complex diseases, approaches which can be compared to modern medicine. The Atlanteans were also highly skilled in the arts, and their artistic achievements were celebrated worldwide. Part 3. The Fall of Atlantis. Moral Decline. As with many great civilizations, the people of Atlantis grew arrogant and complacent due to their prosperity and power. This arrogance marked the beginning of their moral decay. They began exploiting natural resources without restraint and abandoned the ethical principles that once guided them. They indulged in luxury and adopted immoral practices. Misuse of military power. The military of Atlantis was the most powerful in the world, and it was misused in their aggressive expansion. They began to attack neighboring civilizations, which further contributed to their moral downfall. Their military successes made them believe they were invincible, but it ultimately led to their destruction. The beginning of the end. As the rulers of Atlantis exploited their resources to increase their power, they triggered natural disasters. Earthquakes, storms, and lightning struck the island, and in a single day, Atlantis vanished beneath the ocean. According to Plato, the destruction was so rapid that the entire island disappeared overnight. Part 4. The Search for Atlantis and Modern Theories. Archaeological research. Over the years, researchers have attempted to locate the remnants of Atlantis, but no definitive proof has been found. Some believe Atlantis was in the Atlantic Ocean, while others suggest it was in the Mediterranean Sea or near Crete. There are even theories placing Atlantis in Antarctica, but no theory has been conclusively proven. Myth or reality? Some experts argue that the story of Atlantis was merely a moral tale, meant to remind people of their responsibilities and ethical duties. However, the detailed accounts provided by Plato raise the question: if it were just a myth, where did such detailed descriptions come from? The story of Atlantis remains an enigma, and each new discovery adds complexity to the mystery. Part 5. The Legacy of Atlantis and Its Lessons. The potential of scientific advancement. Had Atlantis survived, its technology could have revolutionized human civilization. The energy systems and scientific devices they used could have solved energy crises and environmental issues faced by modern humanity. Environmental balance. The people of Atlantis emphasized environmental preservation and responsible use of natural resources. Had these principles been adopted by modern societies, the world may have avoided the severe environmental degradation we are currently facing. Peace and cooperation. The Atlantean principles of peace and justice could have prevented many conflicts and wars in the modern world. The story of Atlantis teaches us that power should always be used for justice, and peace should be a priority in international relations. Part 6. The possible scenario of discovering Atlantis. Global sensation. If Atlantis were discovered today, it would cause a global sensation. Such a discovery would challenge current historical, scientific, and religious understandings, potentially altering the way we perceive human history. The dawn of new technologies. The technologies of Atlantis, if discovered, could lead humanity to a new era of scientific advancements. Their energy systems, revolutionary medical practices, and new technologies could drastically change the direction of human progress. Religious and historical impact. The discovery of Atlantis would challenge traditional religious and historical narratives, proving that human history is far more complex and deep than we currently understand. It would force us to rethink our current understanding of the past and the evolution of our civilizations. Conclusion. The story of Atlantis is a tale of a magnificent civilization that could have been a golden example for humanity. Its fall was not just an accident, but a lesson that illustrates how arrogance, moral decay, and the misuse of power can lead to the downfall of even the most powerful empires. The lesson for today. The story of Atlantis teaches us that the responsible use of natural resources and adherence to moral values are key to the progress of any civilization. Its destruction was not caused by natural disasters alone, but by a fundamental flaw that the Atlantean rulers ignored: arrogance. They forgot that power and natural resources come with a moral responsibility. This lesson is as important for today's world as it was for Atlantis. The importance of science and technology. The scientific achievements of Atlantis were far beyond other civilizations of their time. Their technology, energy sources, and tools could have revolutionized the modern world. If their principles were adopted today, we might have found solutions to energy crises and environmental problems. This shows that scientific research and progress are essential, but they must be guided by ethical considerations. Environmental preservation and resource management. The fall of Atlantis was also a cautionary tale about the unchecked use of natural resources. If modern societies follow their principles of responsible resource management, we may avoid a similar fate. Proper environmental conservation is critical for the future of our planet. The need for peace and cooperation. The military aggression of Atlantis led to its downfall, highlighting the importance of using power for just causes. The story of Atlantis reminds us that peace, justice, and cooperation are the pillars upon which a stable and prosperous world can be built. Final thoughts. Atlantis, whether myth or reality, provides valuable insights into how a society can thrive or collapse based on its values, technological advancements, and treatment of the natural world. If we learn from its lessons, perhaps we can create a future where we avoid the mistakes of the past. Let me know if you need further revisions or additions.